Hello, hello, and welcome to the On My Mind podcast. I am your host, RemyKeene. If you're new here, please consider getting subscribed and turning on those notifications so you can be here every time we come out with a new video. The On My Mind podcast is here to help you think about the way you approach your day in new ways so that you can have a better life. And that's the goal here with the podcast. So today I'm going to share with you a conversation that I got to have with my friend Shauna. She is a very creative person and a very awesome to talk to, and I feel like the conversation that we had is great. And let's get right into it. We'll see you again at the end of the video. Hello, hello, and welcome to the On My Mind podcast. I'm here with you with my good friend Shauna Black. How are you today?
Hello, I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm great. It's great to have you here. And I'm glad that we got to have this conversation. I'm excited for everyone to get to hear another point of view. That's one of my favorite things about this new style of me doing the podcast this way is you get to hear so many people's interpretation of how they just interact with people day to day. I don't know how much you've listened to of the podcast, but I'm all about like being as positive as I can throughout the day, even when someone else comes at you with negative news or like a situation might feel negative. It's all about how we interpret it and process it. And of course, when we have Jesus on our side, it makes it a lot easier to love people through it and see their positive possibility and everything. So but why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about you, and we'll listen up.
Awesome. So, super excited to be on here. And okay, so my name is Shauna Black, and I am currently a librarian at a community college, which I absolutely love. It's actually the community college that I started my first college experience at. So it was really, really cool. So me and my older sister and I, we are actually also doing it's called a Librarian and RN, and it's a YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. And basically what we're doing is we're just doing small business reviews of book subscription boxes. And that's super fun. So it's a really, really fun, positive, creative thing that we're doing. Let's see, before being a librarian, I was in teaching. So I was a special education teacher for 10 years. And then I was a general education teacher for 2. So I was a teacher for 12 years and then wanted to go into my next passion and my next thing that I loved, which was to be a librarian. And that's what I'm doing right now. So it's super cool. So
that is really cool.
Yeah, I get to work a lot with all of that. Being education was working not only with students, but their kids, but also the parents, and then also, other staff members. And then now in the position that I'm at is working with a lot of college students. So those first few years when they're just starting off is really, really cool. So I'm just loving it. I'm feeling like I'm living my best life right now. So it's really cool. So
That's great. That's
yeah.
that's the adventure of life, really. I mean, you get to
Yes,
go
it is.
through all sorts of new things, whether you wanted them to come about or not.
Mhm.
And like it's about making the best of what you get to go through. So so now that you have to interact with different people in a different way, what did you feel you had to change from like going to more college age students instead of like the previous students you dealt with?
So yeah, great question. So the previous students I had, they were all like mostly 4th and 5th graders, so like really young, and of course their parents and then like administrators and teachers and everything. The difference with college students, and especially like these college students, because like I said, it's a community college, so they're like a lot of just freshmen and sophomores, and then they get those gen eds and everything, and then they generally go off to other places, or they're there for like different trades, which is really cool. So what I love is that they're like really young. They're like these young adults, but I kind of want to say like baby adults. I don't know how to say this correctly, but like
Yeah.
they're like adults, but they're so young at being adults that they haven't experienced a whole lot of being adults. I don't know if that makes sense. So
Sure. Kind
like,
of inexperienced, like, I mean, we've
yeah,
all kind of been there. If you're older
yes,
than that age, you know what it feels like, what you're trying to say. So yeah, for sure.
yeah. It's like they're doing all these adult things for the first time. So one of our students, um, she, our student workers at the library, she was like, my mom just told me that I have to call my doctor and tell my doctor about all these things. And I have to make my own doctor appointment. And she was like slightly kind of freaking out. She's like, I've never done that before. And I'm like, it's okay. You have to, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just call your doctor, make the appointment. It's going to be fine. That type of thing. So that's what I mean. Like, they're doing adult things for like the first time, or like coming in to ask for help. Like, maybe in high school they had somebody, and I revert back to this all the time being a teacher, where I will go to them and ask them if they need any help. But when
Sure.
you're an adult, you have to like be proactive, and you have to like advocate for yourself. So them coming up to like the circulation desk and asking for help, or you can kind of just see them like meandering, or just kind of like, oh, I want to go ask for help, but I want to still be cool and not need help. So it's
Right.
like, I'd be like, it's okay. Come on over and ask
Yeah.
me if you need help, that type of thing. So I would say that just getting to watch students become, and the time that I've been with them, especially like some of our student workers, from the time that they start the semester to see how much they grow so quickly by the end of the semester is really an amazing thing.
Right.
So I would say like how I approach them differently is just stopping and listening first, instead of like, again, that's like just what I'm kind of programmed already to do, like kind of fill in the blanks for them, but just
Yeah.
stopping and waiting and letting them tell me what they need, and not like jumping the gun too much on them. But they're oh, it's so fun to watch them. What I really love is when students come like rushing down the stairs, because our library is in the lower level of the building, and so they'll rush down the stairs. I'm like, oh, it's about time for you guys to have class. And they come running like, I need a book about World War II, and class starts in 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay. So I know to not like ask a bunch of reference questions. It's just like, do you want on the history, or do you want to like specific, whatever, like an overview? And so we'll go directly to the spot, grab the book, and then like 5 minutes later, here comes another student running down the stairs needing a book for class. Gosh, I love it. And then they'll come back and say, this book doesn't work, but can we find another, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, so let's plan this out. When is your research paper due? And let's get a plan of when you're going to come back in here, and I can help you with research, that kind of stuff. I love having those conversations with them. So that's
So it's awesome because you kind of in a way described yourself as a life coach, or like someone who is helping them figure out what to do with their lives. Man, I remember
yeah.
being in school for the first time, whether it was freshman year in high school or in like the technical college I went to, is like, what like what am I
What
supposed to do?
do
I've
I have
never
to
done this
do?
before. Or adulting for the first time, what's a deductible? What is
Right.
why do I have to have insurance on my car? It's like, I didn't get these questions just answered for me. I had to look it up. I had to do it then. And thank goodness for Google. And but like,
People and
I mean,
people
I
around you
imagine
that
people
ask
living
questions.
before Google, and no, I don't know. But so when you said that you kind of have to listen, do you find yourself doing that in regular life too? Because that's one of the things I've always said on the podcast is like, we need to open our ears to hear what people have to say. Sometimes they don't even want us to respond, but the art of active listening is so important, because if someone knows you're listening, that's how you can show you actually care about them. You actually um, want to invest in that relationship. Do you find yourself doing that in your other relationships besides at the school?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oftentimes the first thing people say is, especially when it's like, if like hard conversations or whatever, like that first like bit of information that comes out is always going to be like not exactly what they're talking about. Like, it's so if they're nervous, if the other person is really nervous about telling you something, or they're stressed themselves, and you can tell if they're stressed or whatever, and you're asking them, how's everything going? That first bit is just that emotion that is coming out. So then you have to wait
Mhm.
and listen to what they're saying, to really what they're trying to get to. I hope that makes sense. Because it's always like, I know when I'm like, when there's something that's bothering me that I need to talk with somebody about, I might play it out in my head how I'm going to talk to them and what I'm going to say. But when it comes to it, with your heartbeat racing, you're nervous, you're whatever, you're worried, you don't know how it's going to come out. That first thing that comes out of your mouth is not exactly what you're going to mean, because it's like all of your emotion, all your brain, all your words are coming out. And then, so by being patient and listening and waiting and really trying to understand, and then like reiterate, or not reiterating, but like repeating back what they're meaning, that shows that not only that you care, but that you understand. And I think that's really important, is that we wait and listen so that we understand correctly what they're meaning. And so many times in life, just doing that, especially when somebody's upset and they're coming to you, and you're like, oh, if you just take a deep breath yourself and wait and listen, then it makes it so much better. And then also, like, I call it, well, it's called co-regulation. So if, and I did it a lot with kids when they're upset. So if somebody's upset and they're like, you can see that they're breathing, super fast, and their emotions are all coming out, just by like taking a deep breath yourself and calming yourself will help them be calm as well. So that's a
Yeah.
huge thing that has helped me so many times. And I really think, like, when I'm so thankful that we have, we've got our guiding light, and we've got Jesus that helps us. And I'm in that deep breath, I'm taking, Lord, help me. I mean, like, in my brain, I'm already asking for help. Or as I'm walking down the hallway to go help a student, it is like, Lord, go before me, because I don't know what situation I'm walking into. But taking that deep breath, it's like I'm breathing in like that calm and that peace that I know that the Holy Spirit gives us, and to be able to help who's ever coming in from me. So it's like that co-regulation. So I'm like, Lord, help me be calm and everything, so that I can help them be calm. And plus it keeps me calm for others. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. One of the things that you mentioned is like wanting to take the breath before that, and I've noticed that when I try to do that, like I calm down first, it kind of
mhm,
gives them a second to maybe calm down too. And
mhm,
like I feel like we kind of reciprocate what we see. If they're getting mad, we get mad, and then both of us are mad. But if we try to stay calm, that's
mhm,
one of the things. I work at, customer service. I've done that for a really long time. When we were on the phones with customers, one of the key things was to talk at a low
yeah,
tone, so that
mhm,
they would calm down and lower their tone also, so
absolutely.
that basically they're trying to hear you and trying to understand what you're saying, instead of being just like irate and yelling at each other. You just calmly approach a situation. You don't take anything to heart that they're saying, because really you're just the one hearing them out for the first time. You're not the one that they're actually mad at.
Mhm,
And even if you are, maybe they're more mad at the actions that you have taken versus the actually you as a person. So
right.
realizing that, you know, you can figure out what they're mad about and fix that the best way you know how is really good. Um, when you go into your daily life and everything, what's one of the key things that you keep on your mind to be able to just navigate your day better? Is there anything you do every day that just allows you to maybe approach it in a better way, that maybe you started doing recently, or that you've always done because you know it helps you?
Oh, definitely. So I'm so music driven. Um, and definitely how your day starts is, there's times when you can, like, even if your day starts badly, or you can always, switch it up, or take the time to change it.
Right.
But I'm like I was saying, I'm so like music driven. So definitely music in the morning is a big part of me. And I generally I also get addicted to certain songs. So like right now it's like the Young and Free. I think it's the Best Friends album, but
Hmm.
that will basically be on repeat all morning long. Well, it's a very long album because they double the songs in this version that I have. But definitely the music that I listen to is a huge factor in getting my day going. So it's generally like some sort of um like praise and worship type thing, but nothing that's, but I'm also like, if I'm not a morning person, so it's got to have some beat
Same.
in it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I can't listen to like just specifically prayer music in the morning because
Right.
I'm still waking up and so tired. But like I said, like lately it's been the Best Friends album, and man, I love it. It's just some of the songs there's praise and worship in there a bit, but then there's also a lot of well, all of it's praise and worship, but there's some that are just worship songs, but then there's a lot of the really fun, kind of
Yeah.
funky songs that I love. And so that I've always been that way of starting my day off with music, or if I know funnily enough, if I know if I'm going into where I feel like I'm going into battle, this kind of, I don't want to say battle, but like if I know something's going to be really, really,
Pressure. Yeah.
yeah, tough in my day, I will pick music that gives me that whatever I need. So like, um, if I'm going into a meeting that I know I need to be um, strong and positive, but firm. I don't. Yeah,
Confident.
if I need to go, if I'm going in and I need to be, and I know like I have to stand up for myself, or I have to be firm but kind and positive at the same time, but still not like I need to be strong,
Hmm.
I'm going to listen to a song that really makes me feel that way. Does that make sense? So not
Yeah.
like, but also having the peace in, in my heart, but it's like, I don't know. I think I guess that's just what I do, is just I listen to the music that I need for what I'm going to be going into. So
Yeah.
if I'm going into a situation where I know I need to be calm and peaceful, and what is coming from me needs to be felt by others. A lot of that was with a lot of parents. Like if I know parents are already going to come in and be really super upset because they're scared or worried for their child, then I listen to songs that will make me super peaceful so that I can bring that peaceful to them. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? I'm a really big thing of what goes before, Jesus goes
Yeah.
before. He is around us, he's within us. So that's what I want to come out of me. So it kind of depends on what I need for the day. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, kind of
Definitely
like
music.
you let
Yeah.
it spill over onto them,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you
There
know
so
the
that it,
term "kill it with kindness," but really you're just actually putting so much kindness on them they can't help but be a little bit
mhm.
kind to you.
Yes.
And yeah, that's awesome that you lead with the basically the idea or the atmosphere that you want to
Right.
happen uh,
Exactly.
there,
It has,
and that's
yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another question. Just um, if you could communicate one thing to everyone that you interact with daily that you wish they could know, not necessarily about you, but about what they should maybe try to do to just have a better day, something they could think about, something they could just uh, realize. What do you have anything that you would want to communicate?
I would say that, and this has been my heart since the very beginning. Like whenever a child, a student, a college student, no matter who it is, an adult, no matter whenever someone leaves me, I want them to leave me better than what they came to me. Does that make so? Like if they came to me, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be that they were worried, upset, or whatever before they
Right.
came to me. You know what I mean? It could just be whenever they leave me, I want them to feel, positive, or feel peaceful, or feel that I made their day better than, I don't want to add, I guess it kind of goes back to the spilling onto other people or pouring into other people.
Yeah.
I want to pour love and kindness and positivity into them. And so when they leave me, even no matter how I'm feeling, they feel better. Does that make sense? Because I know
Sure.
not every time in life are we gonna like could be having a really, really bad day, but and crazy things could be happening. It's, it could be just a really crazy schedule. And then on top of it, we've got different things that are happening in life and other people that we're taking care of. And I could feel the pressure and the stress, but I don't want that pressure and stress to go on to other people.
Right.
So I worked really, really hard for a lot of years to, I don't want to say like keep it all to myself, but I am kind of keeping it to myself, but I don't want that to go to somebody else. So I'm not going to be like super negative around people, and I don't want to give them my burden. I hope that makes
Absolutely.
sense. So I want to lift, I don't want to say even, or even take their burden onto me, but I want to help them feel lighter. So
Yeah.
whether that is just listening to them talk about something or them just dumping all of their stress that they might have, and I just kind of let it sit there and let them dump it. I'm not going to pick up their stress because I don't want to add that to myself, but I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to, kind of keep it in this little box, and then I'll pray over them, pray for them too, over the things that they've talked about. But I guess that's really what it is. I've worked really, really hard to, whenever you leave me, I hope that you feel better or feel better than I guess that's what I strive for. I want them to leave me better than what they came, or happier. I hope that makes sense.
Definitely.
So
That's an awesome goal to have, because yeah, what if they're having an awful day?
yeah, you
And
don't know
not to
what.
get too deep into this idea, but I heard this story of this guy who attempted to kill himself, and by the grace of God, he lived.
Mhm.
He jumped off a bridge, but he said to himself in his mind, if one person smiles at me today on the way to do this, not going to do it. And
Gotcha.
nobody did. So the
Um,
opportunity that we have to show
yeah,
people love and share kindness with people,
yeah,
I yeah, I'm the same way. I'm just like, we should not take any interaction for granted. We should
right.
never just assume, oh, that's just another person, they're fine. No, we should treat everyone with a kindness that is special to that person,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And yeah, there's going to be days where you don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
Do you have
Hard.
any advice for someone that's maybe going through like a really rough day on what they could do to
Oh yeah.
change that?
Yeah. Oh man, this happens so many times. So um we uh definitely one thing that really always helped me out, whenever I was like, and I knew, and I always know in myself when I'm like stressed, like this is just too much to carry. I'm like, I just need a bit of a break. Is I always loved on my lunchtime, when even if just going out to the car or changing your environment
Mhm.
is huge. So if like when and I even still do this today, where that's a great job, I love it, but we've got different things that are going on, and he's so busy doing different things that I'm just feeling tired, or my energy level feels down. I like change the environment. So on my lunchtime, I'll go take a quick walk for my quick, whatever, or I'll go just to my car or my truck and just sit and listen to music, because again, I'm so music driven, and that
Sure.
instantly changes it. Or if I need to work on something, and I can listen to music, I do that. But it's just stopping and recognizing in myself that I need a bit of a break, and in order to help other people, I need to be where I'm, positive and fine and calm myself. And if I'm not feeling that way, then I know I need to take a quick break to do something. And a lot of it for me is changing my environment. So it is going on a quick walk, or it is going to the car, or it is like on my lunch break going to get a drink or something like that. And in that time, it's amazing how just putting like a praise and worship song, or a praise and worship, or any, like, it's kind of like that. There's so many genres of Christian music that it's kind of whatever I need is what I'll pick from,
Mm.
if I need, whatever song. um there's that This Is Living Now song. Man, that is one that I is like kind of like a go-to song for me, of when I'm not feeling so, like, this is living now, this is why I'm living. And I don't know, I guess it's just the topic of that we're living, and that how God created us in this life that we're living is the one that we're in. That
Mhm.
song always helps me kind of get, and that in real love. Anyway, if you're wondering what
Mhm.
specific songs, but really This Is Living Now is a big one that I listen to a lot. And I know, so for me, it's music and it's changing my environment just even for a little bit, even if it's like a 15-minute, like say you only have a 15-minute break, 10-minute break, get up, go for a walk for 5 minutes and then walk 5 minutes back. If you need to put some music on, put some music on or whatever. um is everyone has their own different things that they do to kind of de-stress, so it's figuring out what yours is and then going out and doing it. But
Mhm.
definitely I'm an environment person. I need to change my environment a little, and that way when I come back and I'm like, okay, I'm coming in this door, and coming in this door, I'm a big door person too. Like I and in my, especially my classroom, I prayed in my classroom, prayed over my classroom and everything. And that was a big thing. When my kids walk in the store, when adults walk in the store, they're going to feel peace. And it was always so amazing when adults would come in, and really it's a bit chaotic because of all the different things that are going on, but they're like, man, it's just so peaceful in here. And I'm like, great, because we had like 5 different friends that were not so happy, but they were, but it's a different kind of peace. So, but I'll tell myself when I'm coming back in, okay, I'm coming back in. When I step through this doorway, this is how it's all going to be. I'm leaving everything at the door and I'm walking in, and we're going to have a great afternoon, or,
Mhm.
that type of thing. So it's a bit of your mind frame, it's,
Yeah.
you have to determine to not stay in that rut, or to not let that same wheel of thought happen. You're like, I'm done and I'm going to move on. So that's what I do.
So to kind of maybe sum up all of the ideas in a couple words would be to stop,
Yes.
to prepare, and to reset. So
Yes.
basically, like, stop what you know, stop whatever is coming in. Like, remove yourself from it, get away from it, stop that, and just take a breath,
Yes.
and then prepare. Of course, partly beginning of the day, knowing what you're about to face, knowing what you're going to go through, but also prepare in the moment
Mhm.
to love that person
Mhm.
ultimately, and then reset when you need it. Go out for a break, sit in a different environment, and remind yourself basically why you're there, and that you're
Yes.
there on purpose,
Mhm.
that that you're called to be there for some reason, whether you can realize what that is at the moment or not.
Right.
I mean, I remember so many times in my life, like, it's like, God, do you even want me here anymore? Because I'm kind of tired of being here. And
Yeah.
it's like obviously, yeah, I'm there on purpose.
Yeah.
So I got to figure out why. And then, you know, I always feel like within a few days or a few weeks at the most, I'm always reminded of, like, well, you're kind of, a friend to that person when they need you.
Mhm.
And then that, of course, re-encourages me, re-inspires me to
Exactly.
be the light that we need to be the positive person. And one of my favorite things that I got to do at Arby's, and I've told this story a number of times, but when I worked at Arby's, there was this one kid on the back line, making sandwiches, and he was just this ball of negativity that
Yeah.
kind of just infected other people in a way, or people avoided him because they didn't want to be, around him or anything like that. But
Mhm.
I actually saw that as an opportunity to kind of show the
Challenge.
person
Yeah.
love. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I want to let this person know that someone cares about them, because obviously what they're putting out is caused from something. So, like, why are they acting this way? And the only way to find that out is to get to know them and
Yeah.
to try to understand them. So eventually I got to know him. I started joking around with him, kind of got, like, to be friends with him. And I honestly, I would still say I'm friends with him today. But he started asking me questions like, why are you different? Like, why are you like always happy? Why are you positive even when, stuff is happening that you really don't
Mhm.
want to be happening here? It's like, we work at the same place and you just have a much better attitude. I'm like, I mean, I shared with him one, the Holy Spirit helps me. And, I shared Jesus with him and everything. And he had gone to church prior. And of course, because of relationships, he didn't really, you know, continue going there. But like then I was able to just reinvest into him the good news about Jesus. So yeah, it was one of my favorite things that I ever got to do. And the job, all every week I was like, God, I really don't know if I'm supposed to work at Arby's forever. But just for the relationships, and he was one among many relationships that I still love all the people I got to work with, and I learned a lot of things about life. I was pretty new to adulting at that moment too. So I mean it was all great. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling now about that. But I mean, it just shows that in every situation you can find an opportunity to show love and ultimately impact the world around you. So obviously now that I look back there, I was supposed to be there because some of the relationships I was able to develop, I still have today. I would still say that I'm very happy that I got to work there,
Mm-hmm.
because it's great memories. Even though I didn't really enjoy the work experience, I
Hmm.
enjoyed the people so
Yeah,
much. So I
definitely.
really think it's just always getting the best out of whatever situation you feel like you might be stuck in, because
Definitely.
I think it's easy to feel stuck sometimes. When you feel stuck, there's always the ways to remind yourself, okay, am I really stuck, or am I just needing to change something up that I'm
Mhm.
doing also? Because I can tell you that I had to take a step back from some things. The podcast going down to once a month this year, um, just because I was feeling so overwhelmed and that I felt like I couldn't do some of the other things that I really wanted to do with my free time, like spend time with my family and everything
Right.
like that. So um, I was just able to find opportunity in that. But also, that brought a new light to the podcast that maybe I could put the effort in to have actual good conversations with people, to
Yeah.
be able to post and share more experiences from others along with my own experiences and
Yeah,
everything.
definitely. It's cool. I like it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, if you could leave everyone, besides, what we've already talked about, is there one thing that you really, really want to share with people that you haven't got to share yet?
I would say the big thing would be to be brave because you have to be brave in order to do the things that God tells you to do. Even though you're like on the right path and you know you're supposed to do it, you still have to be brave to do it, or to be brave to talk to somebody
Yeah,
is a huge thing. And be brave to change, be brave to step out on faith and do what you need to do. But if anything, I mean, just being brave and then doing it is huge. And
absolutely.
if this last year has taught me anything, it's a lot of like of just changing things for with me, and doing different things and going back to school, and going into a different part of a career, and everything is just being brave, because then looking back you're like, gosh, you ordered every single one of those steps and you put all those situations in line, and it was he put them there, but I had to be brave enough to take the steps and to
Mhm.
trust that, and trusting that God would take care of everything. So be brave in your relationships, be brave in your job, be brave in what God tells you to do. And even though it's really, really hard sometimes, just be brave and just do it. And then you can
Yeah,
look back and see all the amazing changes that have happened. So be brave.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Be brave. I love it.
Brave.
Peter in the Bible, I feel like we give him a lot of trouble for just always, kind of speaking his mind and, just saying things that maybe he shouldn't have.
Right.
But also, he's the same guy that, I mean, taught us all what not to do or what to do in certain situations. Like you said, taking the step of faith, and immediately it's like no other of the disciples got out to step on the water. It was only the one guy that got out to step on the water, and that was Peter. So just taking that step, whether it's scary or not, is a great idea. I enjoyed so much talking to you. Thank you so much, even through all the technical issues that we kind of faced.
Yeah.
It was still so much fun, and I'm glad that we got to have the conversation. So, again, where can people find your uh, information and like look you up? If you want to plug anything, now's that time.
Yeah, cool. So check out, so me and my sister, we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and it's all just Librarian and RN. So like Instagram, I think it's like, and if you just type in Librarian and RN, it's going to pop it up, because we're like, it's not a common thing to have a librarian and RN, and this, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I would say that we're probably just the only ones that are librarian and RN. But anyway, so yeah, go check it out. Actually today we just did some videos, unboxing videos. So it was really, really cool. And we just have a fantastic time, and we're just so silly. But we love it. So it's just a positive, fun thing to do. And we like to bring joy to other people, and everyone's really been enjoying it. So it's been a lot of fun for us, and it gets for us to share some really creative things too. So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Librarian
Awesome.
and RN.
Librarian and RN.
Yep.
And I have watched some of the videos, and I think they're great. Definitely a lot
Awesome.
of personality between the two of you. So I enjoy it a lot. So
Good.
yeah,
Thanks.
and yeah, thank you for coming on again. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
have
thanks for letting me be on.
Chrissy
It's
on
been
in
fun.
the future. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh my gosh, you'd have so much fun with her too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Um,
Cool.
yeah. Thanks again so much for watching this conversation that I got to have with Shauna. Again, thank you so much to her. Go check her out, Librarian and RN. And definitely thank you for watching. Have a wonderful and blessed day. If you want to support the channel, click on one of these two videos now. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.